Good morning, everyone. I wanted to mention something. It has become incredibly aggravating as of late. Over the last few years, we've heard endless accusations that every conservative in the country is a Nazi. Let's do a little experiment for a moment. Let's see who's really engaging in policies similar to the Nazis. So China has instituted mass surveillance of their entire populace, has started jailing dissidents and outright disappearing them, has internment camps where they exploit the labor of Uyghur Muslims, force the women to undergo forced sterilization, kill their babies in front of them, have engaged in a one-child policy for decades. Now they have a surplus of men rather than childbearing women. You have young individuals who are sick of it. They're trying to annex Taiwan, and because the entire world is hooked on China's industry and cheap labor, no one can even mention the sovereignty of what is already a country. Does it not sound crazy yet? Is this not insane? Taiwan cannot publicly mention that they have been their own country, that they are a sovereign nation, because China decides that they want to go back to their old territorial imperialist roots. And they want to take every island in the South China Sea. In addition to Hong Kong, which, by the way, they went back on every single promise that they made when they took Hong Kong in the first place, which was that they are not supposed to be doing exactly what they're doing right now, which is disappearing anyone who criticizes the government. Meanwhile, here in the U.S., you have people pretending as if we're on equal footing with China? Are you out of your minds? Do you not see what's happening? While you use euphemisms to describe the pain of communities here in the U.S., which is complete shit, you have other countries around the world. You have one main country around the world who is colonizing countries in Africa using predatory lending practices, where they say that they're going to be hiring the local populace, then they ship in their own workers to work on these infrastructure projects, give ridiculously high interest rates, knowing damn well that the country will never be able to pay it off because all the benefits of industry and the infrastructure project, including the jobs, were never reaped by their own countrymen. Only by the Chinese workers that are imported in. You have China buying up land in the U.S. They declared people's war on us in 2019. And some of you are still out here acting like this is a joke. Now, see, I'm kind of torn because I'm a huge fan of Black history, and Jesse Owens absolutely handing it to Hitler's regime in Berlin during the Berlin Games. Absolutely handing it to them, shoving it right in their face. And one part of me wants our athletes to go over to China and ram it right down their throat. But the other part of me knows that there's a decent likelihood that our own athletes might decide to go over there and make a spectacle of talking down on America as if they're not in a country that's committing genocide, that has food shortages, that just gave the world a virus and lied about it. Won't allow people to criticize their government at all. Not even honest, factually stated news. We're living in a twilight zone. And some of you still hear people say nice things that make you all tingly inside and think that that's the same as knowing how to fight. There's a difference between talking about fighting and knowing how to fight. Hey, I would love to be heavyweight champion of the world. I'm not stepping in the ring with Tyson Fury. Shit, I'm not stepping in the ring with Mike Tyson for that matter. Because there's a difference in knowing how to fight and wanting to fight. Not everyone that has fight in them can fight effectively. Some people can just very enthusiastically get knocked out. Which brings me to a point. Do you care more about the rhetoric that somebody uses and the politicians that they follow in worship or the pundits that they follow in worship? Because I'm a good Christian man. That's idolatry. You put no man before God. Some of us need to sit down and really think about our obsessions with Trump and some of the pundits that we have. See, I like Trump. I voted for him twice, and I won't apologize for it. But the reason I voted for him is because Trump understood that it wasn't his party. He understood that it was our party. And that's a stark difference between many of the people who are running on Trump's coattails. See, I talk about policy, and most of the time, I don't even mention his name. Why? Because you hear me, and you know I'm telling you exactly how I freaking feel. And because I will go so in-depth in the policy, you know that I'm giving it to you real. I don't agree with people who run and cannot do anything but say someone's name. And I do not agree with the idea that if you don't support a particular pundit or a particular politician, or you disagree with them on whatever issue, or they're not your favorite person, that you must be a leftist or a rhino or so on and so forth. That is binary thinking. It's not even remotely sane. Okay? There are many people who I agree with on 90% of things and I just don't like. There are also people who are great people who I like a lot who I don't agree with at all on politics. I have leftist friends, I have Democrat friends, I have hardcore libertarian friends, I have anarchist friends, I have all sorts of friends. Why? Because my definition of a friend is somebody I'd be willing to take a bullet for and they'd be willing to do the same for me. It has nothing to do with your political affiliation. And I think that that's something we need to hurry up and we need to get our minds right and figure this out, because this fanboy politics is destructive. The party is not one man. The party is not one person. The party is not a single individual. It is all of us. It is the voters. It is the people who are supposed to be being represented by the party. Those conservatives, not Republicans, conservatives. That is the ideology that falls under the Republican Party, that the Republican Party is supposed to represent. The ideology of being a conservative is conservation of the Constitution, the Republic, and the inalienable rights of individuals to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. That's it. That's it. Take all your social crap, throw it out the window. Take all your personal leanings, throw it out the window. I don't have a right to tell other people how to live, but if I want to change the culture, I engage in the culture. There's a difference between what's supposed to be done in legislation and what's supposed to be done privately in the culture through community engagement, activism, meeting your neighbors, being a steward of your community, so on and so forth. We have a lot to work on, people. It's about time people start being honest, not just on the left, who can't admit that China is an evil regime who is trying to legitimately take over the world. This is not some James Bond villain stuff. This stuff is actually happening. And on the right, we need to understand that we have a few issues that we need to correct. Fanboy politics, reactionary politics, and apathy. It's about time I'm being completely honest with you. I want you to stop talking about revolution. Most of you people would never ever pick up a gun and go and fight. What you're asking for is for everybody else to lace up their boots and go and fight for you. If you wouldn't do it yourself, don't talk about it. If you can't bother to get up off your couch and put your beer down to go knock a door, wave a sign, donate to a candidate, even $1, then stop talking about revolution, because you're not ready for that. You're not ready for big boy conversations like that. Now, as a tenet of my campaign, as you can tell, I don't lie to you. I don't lie because at the end of the day, I'm not a politician. I don't care. I'm not looking for a career. Like me, love me, hate me, disagree with me, it doesn't matter. I'll never lie to you. I don't have the time, I don't have the energy. We got a lot to work on. This administration obviously cares more about ideology than it does about people. So as conservatives, what we need to do is start solving problems at your local level, at the state level. We need to start providing solutions to people's problems. When you talk to a voter, start at a place of understanding, start at a place of trying to understand each other, because if a person understands you, they are more willing to take you at face value. They are more willing to have further discussions, and while you may not convince them in a single conversation, you can convince them later down the line if they're willing to have a logical, rational conversation with you. Now, if they're not and they want to call you a white supremacist, flip them the finger and walk away. Irrational people don't deserve rational conversation. God bless. I'll be talking to you soon.